Okay, so the next major thing that you need to do as you're getting ready to start homeschooling is get all the legal stuff and the regulation stuff settled. In Canada, it is absolutely legal to homeschool in every single province and territory. The thing is that every province and territory has slightly different versions of what that regulation is like. It is going to be your responsibility to make sure that you are following all the rules and regulations for the province or territory that you live in. I can offer you what is currently available as of 2020 that I know of, but things change frequently. And when they change quickly and they change abruptly. So just be prepared that things might be different than what I say in this video. I always try to stay up to date, but I don't always know everything. It is important to understand that I'm not an expert. I'm not a legal advisor, so make sure you know exactly what to do. My recommendation is to check on an association about homeschooling for your particular province or territory. They always know exactly what is going on in each province and will keep you up to date. Let's go through each province one at a time. In British Columbia, there are actually two main options for learning at home. One is called distributed learning or enrolling, and the other is called homeschooling or registering. There's a big difference between the two. Homeschooling is more independent, where distributed learning requires you to meet specific provincial learning outcomes. In Alberta, families who homeschool are required to register with a willing board somewhere in the province and have their plans approved. There are actually 4 options. The first 3 are to completely do your own plans, known as traditional, following some of the government curriculum outlines, which is a shared responsibility, and completely following the school plans, known as distance education. With these options, you are assigned a facilitator who visits you throughout the year and are offered funding depending on what school board and method of schooling you use. A fourth option allows parents to send in an annual notification along with an education plan for an unsupervised, notification-only, non-funded homeschool choice. Homeschoolers in Saskatchewan are required to register with their school board and provide an educational plan for each child. Over the course of the year, they need to keep a portfolio of their work and provide a written summary which they present at the end of the year. Funding for homeschoolers varies according to district. In Manitoba, homeschoolers need to inform the government that they are homeschooling. In January and again in June, an official report is filed outlining the learning completed so far. This province offers no funding to homeschoolers. Ontario homeschoolers are asked to submit a yearly letter of intent to their local school board. There is no other requirement or involvement from the government. This province offers no funding to homeschool families. Quebec has some of the most detailed regulations and requirements for homeschooling in the country, and regulations continue to change frequently. Current requirements include sending in writing notification, submission of a learning plan, meeting with a facilitator, and handing in reports throughout the year. Please connect with a homeschool association in the province for complete details about what's required for homeschoolers in this province. There is no funding for homeschoolers in Quebec. In New Brunswick, homeschooling families either have to register with a French or an English school board. This requires a submission of a fairly basic set of forms to which you will receive a letter of approval. This province offers no funding to homeschool families. In Nova Scotia, parents are required to register their child using a form that is available on the Ministry of Education's website. In June, parents need to follow up with that progress report outlining what their child learned throughout the year. This province offers no funding to homeschooling families. All that is required for PEI homeschoolers is to fill out and submit a notice of intent form. This province offers no funding to homeschooling families. Parents and guardians of students in Newfoundland and Labrador must apply by June for the upcoming school year. Students will be registered in their community school. Progress reports are required up to 3 times a year depending on how long you've been homeschooling. There are no financial payments or compensation granted to parents in this province. In the Northwest Territories, parents register their children with a local school where they are classified as students but are exempt from attendance. Homeschoolers in this province get a portion of the funding from the school to help pay for their school expenses. Homeschooling in Nunavut involves registering with the local school and working with the leadership in that school. Inclusion of IQ, or the teaching of Inuit societal values and culture, is to be included in a homeschool education. Funding in this province is available on a reimbursement plan. Yukon homeschoolers need to register with the Aurora Virtual School, who coordinate the home education program for Yukon Education for Anglophones, or École Nomade for Francophones. Along with registration, submission of a home education plan that outlines the plans and learning outcomes for the year, divided into 4 semesters. The Yukon uses the British Columbia curriculum outline for their guidelines. Funding is provided for homeschoolers in this province. So your action step for today, the very important action step today, is to confirm exactly what is required of you from the province that you live in or the territory that you live in. You need to look up on the association, see if there's any paperwork that needs to be completed, get that paperwork done, and know exactly when and where you're sending it into, if you're required to. Okay, that's your action step. Find out what you need to do and do it. Get it ready to go.